As I've been trying to grow my skills as a person, I've been taking up Unreal Engine as a skill, which can be quite difficult, but the truth is that what is the most difficult is that the entire engine runs on C++. Thankfully, there are a series of blueprints that make it easier to work with. However, if I want to become an expert at it due to my crippling fear of imperfection, I'll have to learn C++, which is supposedly an extremely difficult coding language to learn. So I decided to make it easier by simply ignoring reality and substituting the fiction I've created, specifically for it to be easier. So I've decided to instead create a series of different redefinitions of what C++ could be. I have absolutely no idea how long or how good this video will be, or if this might even be my first three-parter. Truly in uncharted territory here. So let's try looking at what C++ might be, and my first attempt at reality deformation is making a new math. My patented, not patented, new mathematical system called C++ will entirely change everything we know and love about math. The only time I've ever really cared about maths is when I'm watching the show Countdown. For any uncultured swine amongst you, Countdown, and its much superior version, 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, is a show where the maths section shows a bunch of random numbers and gives you a big number above and asks you to use arithmetic to solve it. Another fun part is when you have to solve an anagram. Why don't you try to solve this one in 10 seconds? Oh, by the way, I'm changing up arithmetic as well. PEMDAS is now going to be replaced with QWERTY. Step 1, quarter everything. No matter what, make it 1/4. Next step, wiggle your waist. You can't have any kind of mathematical skill if you aren't loosening up those limber ligaments of yours. Step 3. Expect the unexpected. Anytime you're doing math, you are statistically 0.001% likely, at least, to be attacked by a ninja. So, in the name of Dirichlet, you must have your blade in hand. Now, take a step back and rewind. Undo all of your work before, and do nothing else. Step 5. Try on a pair of orange chinos. The perfect mathematical clothing is obviously a pair of orange chinos. Final step. The truth of all mathematics. Yell out the name of your great aunt. This will solve any kind of math problem you may have in front of you. We're also changing all of geometry as well. I figured that it was getting a bit repetitive to name all of our shapes the same thing over and over again. So for C++ math, I'm thinking of new names for it all. We have the open mouth, the pointy poker, the be there or be, the star that's vomited itself inside out, the square after Thanksgiving, and finally, an erect octopus trying to do the YMCA. Also, I hate the whole angles thing. Supposedly, the angles all add up to 360 degrees, but degrees are just a made-up measurement. So, we could just make up our own value of a C++ degree, 85% the size of a normal one, and all of a sudden, we have angles adding up to 420 degrees. So, a circle, or as we now know it, the open mouth, will be made of 420 different angles, which technically makes it a more accurate circle than normal math's 360. So that's one boost for C++ maths, innit? And you know what else we need to change? Square roots. It's too simple to just have a number multiplied by itself. That doesn't need its own name. So I suggest that square roots are now the name of what happens when we take a square, or be there or be, with the sides being the length of the number, like 6 by 6 by 6 by 6. And then, since the edges overlap in the corners, it wouldn't be the same as 6 by 4. So this is what square rooting will be. Just find the numbers of length added up. You might say, but that's just the number times 4 minus 3. I'd say, shut up. I would also outlaw math classes. We don't need to teach math. It's all self-explanatory. If there's anything that's needed to know, let the person figure it out. There's absolutely nothing that's gone wrong when we stick to an entirely Darwinistic type of education, forcing people to learn from experience. This whole new math system, C++ as I call it, is no doubt a surefire billion-dollar idea. But just before it takes off, there are a few other pitches I want to give you, sharks. Because what if C++ was the name of an alien species? We dream so much of a land beyond the stars, a world with life forms much like our own, but full of so many differences to learn and observe and express. If we want it, we can have it. Just imagine it, with the C++ alien brand. Every species has a planet, and C++ins have a planet, no doubt by the name of C. Plusia. It is a land of brightly colored beaches, tall skyscrapers, roving mountains, deep deserts, small towns, airports, highways, sedans, BMW, evil corporations, Jeff Bezos. As you can see, it's incredibly different from Earth. Such a complex species would no doubt be full of weapons and tools of mass destruction. The C++ arsenal would no doubt have cool lasers and tanks, but they would be even more inventive than that basic shit. Now, C++ aliens wield giant nuclear swords that are conveniently camouflaged as a fern. One day, you might think, the world's fern population is mysteriously growing. But instead, it's just the C++ aliens planning their invasion in advance. Then you have to imagine all the selfishness that goes into their fashion and imagery. I would picture these C++ aliens as being rainbow-colored with giant eyeballs and jetpacks. Okay, maybe the jetpacks were unnecessary, but cool nonetheless. The clothes must be flashy in a neon sort of way. C++ins have a very high amount of fashion sense and style. You think that they would be caught dead in gaudy dresses or suits. These bad boys require a level of expertise you could only find in a cardboard box outfit. They would be so far above us in the realm of art, it would melt our eyeballs just to look at the creations they make. A statue built entirely of cheese and poker chips. Such inventive talent makes the best painter in our world, Beethoven, look like a fool. Their language would exclusively be a series of high-pitched screams that they shout into the water, leading to explosions of voice. This is the best method of communication, because imagine you had to tell someone about their loved one's passing, and all they have to hear is,